This is crazy. Hello everyone, welcome to the Take Care Man channel. My name is Todd. In this video we're going to be doing a shave with 345 Soap Co's Estes shave soap and the matching splash. When I saw the label for this soap circulating on social media, I think this was the release of 345 Soap Co's monthly subscription service that they have. They put out a new soap every month and subscribers get the soap. I'm not a subscriber. In fact, this is my first 345 Soap Co. It comes very recommended to me in terms of the soap base and its performance and the company itself. And so I thought this label has to mean Estes Park, Colorado, which is one of my favorite places that I've ever been. My wife and I went there on our 20th wedding anniversary and had a really good time, enjoyed Rocky Mountain National Park, stayed in Estes Park. So I thought if these scent notes are anywhere near something I would like, I've got to pick it up. As you may have noticed, one of my weaknesses is not necessarily particular scents, but like these geographically oriented scents, particularly places I've been or places I'm fond of. And so, you know, this was one I had to pick up and see if I like. So the notes are orange, and then sort of what forms, in my opinion, like this pepper, spicy accord, anise, which would be licorice type scent, peppercorn, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg. And then you have ylang, which is like a floral scent, and then musk and patchouli. And for me, at least off the tub, I get that spicy note, sort of that accord of all of those spicy notes I mentioned. The orange is there to give it some brightness, although it's not as strong as like the spicy notes in there. You get a little bit of the musk, a little bit of the patchouli to give you sort of this earthiness. But overall, it smells like a real clean, spicy, sort of forest, airy, clean air type of scent. So I have it lathered up here in the Pereira shaving bowl. I like this bowl because it's got a nice rest for your brush. I am using the Omega Evo synthetic brush. It is hashtag synthetic brush week for the folks over at BBS Live, Mel and Nate. So far, what I get off of the puck is the same as what I'm getting off of the soap lathered. You really get that spiciness opening up. And that floral is just there enough in the background, which is what you would get, like, to me, in like a forest in like Rocky Mountain National Park. You're going to pick up on those floral notes from time to time, depending on, you know, what you encounter on your hike or your walk or your drive or what have you. So this is already lathered, just applying it here, and we'll get into this first pass. For the razor, we're using the Blackland Vector with a Captain Titan mild blade on its second use. So this soap is in the 345 Soap Co's Trinity base, and I will put the ingredients on the screen here for you. I'm going to assume it's you know, based in beef tallow, but there's 3 milks used in there. So donkey milk, camel milk, and goat milk. So I'm going to assume that's what's meant by Trinity, although the Trinity might refer to certain butters, tallow, and oils. I'm not really sure. Performing great thus far. Yeah, feels great. 345 Soap Co. is owned by John and Annie Patton. They live in Colorado, LaSalle, Colorado to be specific, and they mention that they like to visit Estes Park. And so, as I was mentioning earlier, my wife and I went there on our 20th wedding anniversary. So like I said, we went about 4 years ago in late May, early June, and spent the night in Hays, Kansas on the way out there. Got to our hotel, our lodge there in, our inn to be more specific, in Estes Park, Colorado. And we stayed at the Alpine Trail Ridge Inn. And I'll roll in some pictures here of our view from our balcony, which was amazing. We got there just enough time where the sun was beginning to set. And so we got our maps out of Rocky Mountain National Park and drove back to Bear Lake. Now, They had just had a snow, pretty big snow, about 3 days before we got there. And while some of it had started melting, there was quite a lot of ice and snow still left, particularly in the areas that did not get a lot of sun during the day. So we started walking around the trail that's around Bear Lake, and you know, we're bundled up because, as you can see in the pictures, there was still, like, you know, a lot of snow on the ground and things. My wife noticed that there were photographers on the other side of Bear Lake who were setting up, and you could see that kind of the setting sun was kind of hitting them a little bit, and they had their tripods, and so my wife was like, well, clearly those folks know what they're doing. Let's go over there and see what their viewpoint looks like over there. So we get around there and we see this spectacular view, which is reflected into the water of Bear Lake. It's Long's Peak and what's called the Keyboard of the Winds. There, Long's Peak is the tallest point in Rocky Mountain National Park. So you can see from these pictures how beautiful that was. So it was quite sort of a happenstance, you know, introduction to Rocky Mountain National Park. So it was a really cool way to start off, like, our first, like, visit into the park. So sun was setting, so we walked the rest of the way around the lake and got out of there before it got dark and ran to the grocery store, stocked up for the week. There was a little, like, sort of little mini kitchen in the inn where we stayed, and so we got stuff for, like, breakfast and stuff. And then we got up the next morning, and we went and drove up to what's called Mini Parks Curve Overlook, and we got another great shot of Long's Peak there. It overlooks Moraine Park and some other parks, and when parks are used in terms of within the national park, it means like wide open meadows or wide open spaces. Then we were able to drive on up to the Rainbow Curve Overlook, and what I was really wanting to do while we were there is be able to drive on Trail Ridge Road, highest continuous highway in the U.S. So basically the highway that's the highest elevation that you can get on and go over a mountain and come down like the other side and can keep going, you know, elsewhere. But because they'd had a snow, it looked like the annual opening of the road, which was usually Memorial Day or, you know, around June 1st, was being delayed. They opened it up a little bit more all the way up to Rainbow Curve, which is where these shots are taken. And we could see there the snow plows, or one of them, that they use to clear Trail Ridge Road. And we talked to a couple of park rangers, and they said, yeah, we're going to try to get it. You know, the weather looks good. They're going to, the plow drivers, I've started going with the grain because I'm not paying attention, talking about my story. They said, you know, we're probably going to be able to get it open because of the weather, but we couldn't go any further on that particular day. So what we did is we went down and hiked in Moraine Park. It's kind of a relatively flat meadow area within Rocky Mountain National Park. And at one point we took a little bit of a detour on a side trail, and it started actually, like, it was a warmish day, but it actually started sort of spitting snow a little bit, and so it was kind of flurries, and there was this like family of elk there that were sort of milling around, and so we just kind of sat there and listened to the quiet of like the forest and watched the elk graze. It was a really cool sort of moment. Then that night we went back to our hotel, got ready, went and ate at Dunraven Inn, Italian restaurant, which is now moved closer to downtown Estes Park. It was out on Highway 66, I think, when we ate there. It was one of the better meals I've ever had. It was really, really good. So that day was actually May 31st, which is the day of our actual anniversary. And I had arranged for us to go to the Estes Park Memorial Observatory, which is like a planetarium, you know, telescope kind of thing. And I didn't know much about it other than I thought it'd be something cool to do. You could visit it and, you know, be able to, you know, look through the telescope and stuff. Observatory had been opened by a guy named Michael Connolly, I think that's his name. I'll have to look it up again. And his children, who were adult children, Christian, his daughter, and Thomas, his son, were killed in a car wreck. It's like the same, automobile accident. And he used some of their life insurance money and stuff to open this really great observatory and placed it at the high school in Estes Park. So he met us there that night. Like, that's what he would do for tourists, is just meet them there. He wanted people to enjoy it. And we had the best time. There was also like a astronomer from, I want to say, Arizona State, who was spending his vacation there, and he actually came up there. Mike knew him, and so he got to sort of show us around the sky, as did Mike, and their intern, who was like somewhere in Europe. I can't remember where he was from specifically, but it was really cool. And my wife shot a good picture of Mike and I standing there together. But it was really sweet to see what he'd done in memory of his son and daughter, who he had tragically lost. So that was a really cool night. Then we went back in the park and tried to wait for, to try to find the part of the park where it was the darkest skies to try to see the Milky Way. But the moon was still out, and it was getting a little cool, and my wife honestly didn't want to wait that long, and I didn't want her to have to either. So we gave up on trying to see the Milky Way and headed on back to the inn for the night. And we're going to go in and try to do a pickup pass here. We do have a few pickups. Go back in here and get some of this lather, and there's quite a bit of it still left, and it smells amazing. I really like this. I would say scent strength is probably a 7 out of 10, if not a 7.5 or 8. I didn't go back in the bowl and get lather on that last pass, and should have, because there was plenty in there. So if it looked a little thin to you, that's my fault. I just didn't go back and grab some out of the lather bowl. So the next day we went over to one of the, sort of the north side of the Rocky Mountain National Park, and we drove by the alluvial fan, which is a fanned out area of water, or where a river actually runs, but it used to be held back into like a lake by an earthen dam, so a natural earthen dam. But the dam failed in the early 80s and flooded all of Estes Park. And so now what you see there is sort of the rubble from where that earthen dam used to exist. Then we had a nice walk around Sprague Lake and had a lot of nice views there. Then we went to the Emerald Lake Trail around near the Bear Lake area. So it's a trail that goes up to Nymph Lake, Dream Lake, and then Emerald Lake. And so, we took off on the trail. Let me rinse this off. I'll come back and continue the story about our trip to Estes Park and our experience on the Emerald Lake Trail. Okay, I'm back, rinsed off. Let's talk a little bit more about this splash from 345 soap. This has jojoba, apricot, almond, and hydrolyzed silk protein in it. So jojoba oil, apricot oil, almond oil, and the hydrolyzed silk protein. It also has witch hazel, distilled water, alcohol, Hydrovance, rose hydrosol, vitamin E, and then the fragrance, and it's 100 milliliters. It smells a little bit more masculine out of the bottle. Let's see what it does on the face. Oh yeah, definitely getting the alcohol burn, but also getting that fragrance. Getting the spiciness again. It's still spicy forward. That accord of anise, peppercorn, nutmeg, ginger, cinnamon. Really nice. To keep in mind, some people are sensitive to cinnamon. I actually feel a little bit of the cinnamon burn. It doesn't bother me. I use splashes like Sterling's Hot Apple Cider and Captain's Choice's Cat o' Nine Tails that have cinnamon. I really like those. Really, really nice. Could have got a little closer down here, but I'm trying to tell stories when I do it. Yeah, really. You get the orange more here too as well in the splash. Really nice scent. Really nice scent. So back to the story. The trail was slick and slippery, covered in ice and snow in places. Most places you couldn't really even see the trail, but we managed to make it on up there. Stopped one place above Nymph Lake. We got to Nymph Lake, stopped above it, took some great pictures there that I'll show you here. But then we continued on up to Dream Lake and got a really nice shot. We were right there, right below Hallett Peak, which is the taller peak you see there to your left. Also the Tyndall Glacier, which is right there sort of in that little low area or valley or trough to the right of Hallett Peak. So the Tyndall Glacier. And my wife and I debated, should we continue on to Emerald Lake or just, cut it off there at Dream Lake, which is what we did, which was still quite a hike, uphill, a lot of elevation gain. Yeah, we got a great picture there. But she and I both are determined to go back and get all the way up to Emerald Lake and get that pic. But right there where you see Hallett Peak, that's just right below the Continental Divide. So a pretty cool place to be, beautiful place to be. Obviously still very wintry, even though at this point this was June 1st when we took this hike. So then that night we had a great dinner at Twin Owls restaurant, steakhouse, great steak. It was really, really good. And then next day, thankfully, the last day we were going to be there, or last full day we were going to be there, on June 2nd, they opened Trail Ridge Road all the way across to Grand Lake. So we got to drive up on it. In the elevation there, I had an app open on my phone. We got up to 12,186 feet above sea level. And we stopped and took a picture at the Continental Divide. Now, that road is not for the weak of heart.
Okay, I didn't need that. I didn't need that little roller coaster movement.
Oh, I'm going to throw up.
This is crazy.
Why is this so much different?
I don't know, but it is.
You need to have a little bit of courage to drive on that thing because as you can see, there were parts where you could not see off the edge and there were no guardrails. That's one of those snow plows. They have the tall things on the front bucket, like the tall poles, and there's tall poles at the edge of the road to help them know where not to run off when trying to plow the road to get the snow off there. So whatever they pay those guys and gals driving those snow plows is probably not enough because it looks like pretty treacherous driving. But you can see how tall the snow was in some of these videos and images I'm putting in here. Like it was really, really tall. Like they had to plow through a lot, like higher than your car. And obviously some of those curves, you're just sort of looking off the edge. And up there, you're basically in alpine tundra conditions. It's above the timberline, so the trees stop growing up there, and it's more like, frozen tundra kind of situation. And so you have more alpine type conditions, different flora and fauna and animals and things like that. Drove on over to Grand Lake. Grand Lake was beautiful as well. Still liked Estes Park quite a bit more. Drove back across Trail Ridge Road, spent our last night there. It was a great trip. And then the next day on the way out of town, I got to stop at the Spyderco headquarters there in Colorado and got to go in the factory outlet they have there and got a couple of my Spydercos sharpened while I was there. In fact, I'll roll in the knife I got, which is really special to me. A really great trip. So I knew when I saw this come out, and my wife and I want to go back to Estes Park. We loved it. We really loved the Alpine Trail Ridge Inn. And I knew one of these days we'd be heading back, Lord willing, because I love Estes Park, Colorado. And so I wanted to pick up this soap as a reminder of how great that place is. Not that I needed any reminder, but this scent is really, really nice. I enjoy it. I would even dare say, like I did Washington Heritage Hill in the last video, this could be a holiday scent. Cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, great year-round soap, great holiday soap. I really, really like it. Performed great. Scent is great. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about the 345 Soap Co. Estes Soap and Splash and hearing a little bit about Estes Park, Colorado and Rocky Mountain National Park. And I hope you're doing well. Hope you're looking forward to the holidays. And, please drop a comment below. Double check. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Offer any suggestions, any comments, questions, anything you want to put down there. All feedback is good and welcome. So, as always, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care, man.